Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to City Skylines Green Cities. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day because I'm certainly excited to be back here in the beautiful city of Greendale, where things are going super well, except the entire city doesn't have power right now, so I'm going to just pause. I'll explain why in a second, but first we have $5.9 million. We have 52,000 citizens and a bit of demand for everything. And the reason we don't have power is because I disconnected the power line that run along here, and I filled in this little space with some roads. I was going to do this as a part of this episode, but I realized there's really minimal work that has to be done to fill up this space, so I figured, meh, I'm not gonna bother. But I do need to make sure to fill all of this space in with some zoning to make sure that the city actually gets power. We're also gonna do residential in those areas, and we'll throw some offices in there just to be a bit different. But in terms of actually getting power over there, that's relatively simple. I think just for the sake of making sure that there is a connection, I'm gonna do this just for the time being. Just to give the entire city power, because that was a bit of a mistake. Little bit of a mistake there, you know, cutting off the entire power grid from the city. But no big deal. It's fine. Let's not stress too much about it. Anyway, today there are a couple of things I would like to do. I'm thinking we could get to work on zoning some stuff in here. And I'm also thinking I'd like to start working on a bit of a road network up here. And I'm thinking I want to do something a little bit different with it. Oh, also, I did a little bit of terraforming along all of these roads just to make the slopes here a little bit less steep. So the terrain, I think, just looks a tiny little bit better, and we don't really need you anymore. So we'll get that out of there. Yeah, that wasn't needed at all. Anyway, I think since this will probably be the easier thing to start with, we'll go ahead and get started just over here. I want to go, like, 40 units there, and I want to go, like, 40 units there, and that should go... Oh, interesting, that doesn't go straight across. Let's see, will that connect nicely? No, actually it won't. Now that's kind of interesting, but that's not a huge deal. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put some roundabouts in here, and I know they're not necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I kind of want to. So I need a one-way road to go 10 there, and 10 there. And I need one to go 10 there, and 10 there. Then we'll bulldoze all of this, and in theory this should all connect together really nicely, but we shall see how that goes. They are going to be some relatively decently sized roundabouts, and the reason I'm doing this is really just because I want to do something a little bit different. I know that roundabouts aren't the most efficient way to do things in city skylines. I know that traffic can be really weird with them, but I just kind of want to do it. I just want to have these in here because they'll look a little bit different, especially once we start filling up a lot of this area. It's going to look a little bit different having some roundabouts up here. And I just kind of want to see what that looks like. So we're going to connect all of this up. Just like so. And then this is going to be a new sort of city block. We can build another one sort of out here. I'm tempted, honestly. I am tempted to sort of do like another little mini roundabout thing here, or at least to, you know, connect that up like that and bring this across. Though technically that would probably want to be another roundabout, but I don't think we'll go that far. I think we'll just do that kind of thing there for the time being, so that connects over as well, and that gives us a couple of city blocks to work with, and I'm excited to actually go ahead and get working with those. I'm also going to make sure people aren't parking on the roundabout. So it's going to be some grass-lined roads in there. I could do highways, but I think that's maybe a little unnecessary, and I would like people to be able to walk around these, so we'll just do it that way. And in terms of what way we're going to do a city block in here, I reckon we're going to give it just a couple of connections. So we'll go here for one. And that needs to go to there, I think. Yeah, so it needs to go in like that. and up. And we're gonna go to here, I think, and across like that. And I'm kind of tempted to say that that's all we're gonna do. I could add another connection down here if I wanted to. And I think I will, just for the sake of having one there. But what I'm thinking is we're gonna pretty much bring this around. Those can connect together pretty well. Although they're gonna connect in a weird way. I wonder if I could... So that doesn't actually line up all that well. Which frustrates me quite a bit. But if I do that kind of thing... Bulldoze, bulldoze, and we go like... I don't know, $160 worth that way. 160 that way. Then connect these guys up with some grass-lined roads. I can bulldoze that a little bit. And we can have a nice little curve there of some sort. Because why not? So just do that kind of thing. And then turn this all into regular roads. I kind of like that. I think it looks nice. We could technically do the same up here. We could technically do the same up here. And I think I'll give it a shot. So we'll do that. We'll do that. Bulldoze and bulldoze. And this is 160 right there. I just messed that up, didn't I? So again, we'll go... Can I get 160 here? 160 is right there. That's fine. Connect those up. Then this one's the same, so another 160. And connect those up. And then bulldoze all of that. And get ourselves a nice little curve. And change those bits. And I think that looks nice. Couple of entrances to the area. Couple of curves in the corners. You know, something to just make the area look kind of nice. And I think what we'll do is we're going to just have these roads sort of come up like that to that point. And then we can have one just go down through the middle like that. And I think that'll do a pretty decent job for the district. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn on road anarchy and just have a little pathway going there. And we'll do the same at all of the ends of these roads. Just so they're connected up kind of nicely. And hopefully traffic can move around there relatively easily. I think what we will do is we'll do some grass-lined roads on these entrances so that traffic isn't going to be parking on those. And I'm curious to see how that works. I'm curious to see if that goes well. As for this area over here, gonna do a kind of similar thing. So we're gonna go from about there and in for 11. And then I'll turn off road guidelines so it doesn't start snapping in weird places. We'll go 11 there and across. And I think that's probably going to be fine. We could probably turn guidelines back on real quick for this bit because we're going to do another little curved corner there. And I think what we'll do is we'll fill up this in a similar manner to this one. And then we'll start zoning it to figure out what exactly is going to be in these areas. Alright, I think this looks kind of neat. I like it. I think we're probably going to end up doing a couple of districts here. So this will probably be like one district, and then this will be another one. Especially since we do have some, you know, this is like a Colossal Square. This is Hamilton Park, which is the Modern Technology Institute. So we'll just go ahead and run the district brush around all of this, which is going to be ever so slightly tricky to do because Hamilton Park has some small roads around it. But I should be able to do this, and I hope that this doesn't mess up too much zoning while I do this, because I'm not going to pause the simulation. I'm just going to let it run, because I keep pausing, and that's something I've done, like, forever. I always just pause when I'm doing things like this, and I really don't need to. So we're just going to try and stop doing that. So we'll just run this the whole way around, just getting it off of the avenues and off of that bit down there. I'm going to run Hamilton Park back up onto that road there for a second. For, you know, good reason. I'm hoping that Hamilton Park will stay in the places that it needs to be in, because there were a couple of buildings that I think got, like, demolished there, which I'm not too happy about. So I'm thinking if I, like, have Hamilton Park be the last district that was technically on that road, we might be okay. I guess we'll see. Either way, we have Lynch Park right there. And over here, we're going to have whatever this one's going to be called. But we'll find that out in just a second. But yeah, I think in terms of the split of zoning that's going to be in this area, I think it'll largely be residential. What do we got? High heights. All right. All right. We have high heights, which is slightly reminiscent of Park, which is, that goes way back. Good old Park Industrial Park. That's, man, I'm pretty sure if I want a lot of views in this video, I could just title it Park Industrial Park. That wouldn't be appropriate because we don't have Park Industrial Park. But I've said the words, so technically I could make it the title because I do reference it. I'm not gonna, but I'm just saying. Because every time I reference that, people are like, oh my god, I remember Park Industrial Park. And for those of you that don't know what it is, just go to the comments, I'm sure someone will tell you. Anyway, I think what we'll do is, yeah, I think these are going to be areas that have a high-rise ban for a start. So both of them will have a high-rise ban, but both will have high-tech housing. We'll encourage biking in both of them. We'll do the old time policy in both of them. We'll do combustion engine ban in both of them. And then I'm really tempted to say that they both have sustainable housing. I'm really tempted because we haven't done that in a while, but I know that the sustainable buildings are a lot taller and don't really have the high-rise ban applied to them. Like these ones over here are all covered in grass and stuff. So I don't think we will. I think we'll just go with normal. So let's figure out what kind of pattern we're going to go for with the zoning here. I think for one, we are going to do this. So this entire stretch of road and the avenue. And I think the avenues in general, not necessarily that one can maybe have offices. But I think the avenues in general are going to have things like shops on them and offices on them, just because that kind of makes sense to me. I think over here we will stick with, you know, more offices, since that's a little bit further onto the edge of the city. And I think this little block down here is just going to be a bunch of offices as well. So we'll do that kind of thing. And I think we'll just do offices through to there as well. So that'll be fine. The roundabouts themselves, actually, this is kind of a pain in the butt. But if I turn those into highways, I technically get the full zoning in here. And the reason that's a pain in the butt is because it means that people can't actually walk around those without me adding in some pedestrian paths. So we are going to have to come back and do that. But I think since it does give me a bit more zoning, it's probably for the best. So we'll just do that. As for paths to get around, I mean, people can technically cross there. So maybe what we do is we go to road, we turn road guidelines off. We go like that. We go like that and straight across. Obviously not very pretty, but kind of does the job. I could, however, do this kind of thing and just slightly curve this out and around using move it here. So that'll technically put a path around that roundabout, which seems like a pretty decent idea to me, actually. That seems to do some good stuff. I kind of like that. Move that a little bit in. I said move that a little bit in. Maybe move that along a little bit, and there we go. So technically, that'll let people walk around that roundabout, which I think is a good thing. So I guess I've just got to do that in every other part of this roundabout as well. So there, and there. Just like that, and then I have to make those two match that. Okay. Okay, there we go. So we have the pathways going around. Hopefully people will use those. Those pathways also connect to the intersections as well. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping it goes well. We'll go ahead and start filling this up with residential zoning as well. I'm going to start by going around the edges. I don't think I'll bother filling up the entire thing, because there's probably no point. So we'll just fill up all of the spaces around here. And we can go from there, pretty much. We'll just fill up the rest of it as it's needed. And what's more is this actually lets me go ahead and put in a couple of parks, which I do absolutely want to do. So we could get a park there, for example. We could throw a park up there as well. And that'll just give a bit of leisure to those areas. We could throw in something like the Botanical Garden, which I'm kind of tempted to do. Maybe throw the Botanical Garden just there for something a little bit different. And I think at this point, turn off Anarchy and let the simulation run. And I do have pipes under here already, so that entire area is pretty much good to go. And I'm excited. I'm really excited to see how this area develops. I want to see how traffic moves around it. There are, you know, high avenues going the whole way around it. There's a highway connection nearby. Admittedly, the highway connection's probably going to have some issues. But I'm excited nonetheless. I want to see how it goes. I am slightly tempted, however, to make a couple of, like, slip roads here. So what I could maybe kind of do is if I go, like, there and do, like, that kind of thing. And I go, like, there and do, like, that kind of thing. I could technically, sorta, only sorta, but technically sorta do that, right? I'm gonna want to turn off the, oh wow, what kind of angle am I getting on this? Bear with me. This is just a concept, right? So if I flip that around, bulldoze you, we'll reconnect those bits. Right, so technically what I've done there, if I was to maybe change those to be, you know, one-lane roads or whatever, so like that. Right? We go into the lane management, and we say you can only go left, and you can go there, and I guess that's fine. Technically, you are only allowed to go left, and technically you can't turn into that lane, right? So technically, what I'm doing here is creating like a super fast way to go in each direction. Now, what that means as well is that these two lanes here can only go right because we already have a left turn back here. Right? So, and then technically that would mean that you can only go straight on because we already have a left turn. And then you're the only guy that needs to cut across there. I think. Am I doing this right? I might be doing this wrong. I might be doing this very, very wrong. But the concept, I feel, is there. Alright? And that's the important bit. The concept, I feel like the concept is here. So I'm just going to switch that on for a second and see what happens. I feel like I'm on the right path. I just feel like I don't have enough experience with this kind of junction to know what I'm actually doing. So I'm gonna bulldoze it. I'm gonna bulldoze it. I really don't know what I'm doing. So what we'll do is we'll just set up the lanes. Oh wow, can I clear this junction? I would really like to, can I reset the junction? Is there an easy way to do that? I feel like there isn't, so I feel like I'm gonna just have to manually go in and figure all of this out again. It's not complicated, it's just slightly time consuming, so let's get going. Well, I think it's safe to say this area is coming along really, really nicely. I'm quite happy with it. Decent amount of traffic using it too, which is beautiful to see. As for the roundabouts and all that stuff, I'm not seeing all that much traffic, but I am seeing a couple of people from time to time using my little pedestrian paths. So that makes me super, super happy. A couple of people in here using them as well, which is great to see. Now, there is obviously one thing that we really need to figure out here, which is the metro line, because there's a couple that we could go for here. We could obviously bring the line that comes into Colossal Square along a little bit further, which is kind of tempting. I will say, is this station popular? 5 passengers per week versus 41. No, so this station here is not popular. What we're going to probably do then is I'm going to move a station into like the middle of here. And I think that might be a better spot for the end of that line. And then I think I'm going to put a station, I could put it at that corner if I wanted to. But I'm thinking there. And that's where this line's going to come into. Because there's a multitude of lines that do go there. So if we go to like that spot and we try to get this to curve like there. And then this line is going to go... let me bulldoze that for a second. And then bring that straight across to there. And move that stop to there. So that'll hopefully get a little bit more use. Hopefully. It's just at this point I need to figure out... I think that green line we are going to move into here. So I think that'll be fine. Then we can have a couple of stops in here for said green line. And I guess we'll see how that goes. Looks like the blue line's slightly adjusting. That's odd. Yeah, there we go. So those lines are all adjusting. Which is fair enough. But I think having that metro line go into there is probably going to be a better bet. And I'm really happy with the metro system we have here. I know not everyone is, but I really am. Because it's worked exactly the way I want it to. It's just expandable. Having all those like spokes go out to all the different parts of the city has worked just exactly how I wanted it to. So that really does make me incredibly happy. I do think, though, I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to knock the speed limit on the roundabout down to 50. Because there's no way it needs to be 100 there. So we'll keep it 50 so it matches the speed on the avenues there. So traffic isn't going to be going completely nuts around that roundabout. So there we go. That's a little bit better. As for these guys, they're going to be crossing over and then using my path. There we go. I love that. I'm so happy with that. That's beautiful. Apparently we have some crime up here, though. Do we... we do technically have police coverage up here, but I guess I could throw a small precinct in, say, on one of these roads, say there. Get a small police department up there. Fire coverage is probably something to look into as well, so we'll get a small station just over there as well. Fire coverage is actually... It's missing in a couple of spots, but it's not that bad. These guys don't have water. Well, that's probably why you guys are like constantly leaving the city. So there you go. We'll get that sorted for you. I am kind of noticing that we are having some major issues with the recycling trucks actually getting through to the city. There's a few places around the city that are just complaining about not getting their garbage collected. And it is mostly areas over here. Because the garbage trucks have so far to go. So I do think we're going to need to look into that. I do absolutely think we're going to need to look into that. And as soon as possible as well. Because garbage trucks are having issues getting to the northern parts of the city. So doing something about that, probably a pretty good idea. I do also want to just make sure all my services are doing okay. So electricity is still fine. Water, sewage isn't actually. Sewage is catching up with us a little bit there. So if we could perhaps, you know, maybe just continue. We do have a key under there, right? Do we have a key under there? I don't actually know that we do. Oh, we totally do. Okay. Can I connect to it and turn on anarchy so I actually snap to the end of it? There we go. So we'll go to there. And we'll throw another sewage treatment plant just onto the end there. And connect it up. And that should knock the sewage treatment up kind of nicely. There it is. Not bad. So that'll do the job. What about garbage? So garbage is technically fine in terms of the amount of garbage that we can actually dispose of. But I have my doubts that we're actually doing okay with that. What I'm also thinking is I'm actually going to fill those spaces in with more offices. And I'm going to go ahead and start surrounding this area with the rest of the industry. Because obviously I'm going to expand off the back of that and fill up all of that space. But we might as well just fill up the space that we have at the moment before building more roads down here. Even though I'd really like to build more roads down here. We're gonna do it somewhat sensibly is what I'm getting at. So let's have a look at education. Elementary school availability is kind of bad. So we're going to throw an elementary school into one of these spaces. I'm thinking maybe over there. Actually, over there could be a good spot for a high school. Yeah, over there's not a bad spot for a high school at all. So we'll throw that. Can I get it done there? No. So we'll get a high school just there. That'll be fine. That'll knock the capacity up to 9,250. We are, however, going to need a high school up here. So, can I get this to be near a metro station? Where did I put the metro station for this area? Right there. So, I want the high school to be like pretty much next to that. Possibly the elementary school as well. So, if the high school is like there, elementary school could be there. So that'll give coverage to that area. I think we'll do similar over here. So elementary school can go pretty much next to the old thing there. The old metro station. And capacity is coming up. It's just not quite where it needs to be. So what else? What are you complaining about? Garbage? Yeah. That is a bit of a problem. Elementary education. Let's see if we can get a bit more in here. So we'll go for that spot. For one of those weird ones. And we'll go for... Can I get it there? Yeah, we'll go for there for another one of the weird elementary schools. Even though it is just around the corner from the one that we just placed. And let's see here. I'm thinking somewhere in this area for one more elementary school. I'm thinking right about there. Even though it's another one of the weird ones, which doesn't quite have the same capacity as the regular ones. So I think we'll just throw a regular one right about there. And there we go. So elementary capacity is fine. University, also fine. So we're definitely doing okay on that front. Demand is picking up a little bit, so what I think we'll do is we are just going to fill up all of this middle space with residential. Because I do want that population to climb. So people are just going to live in those areas, and hopefully people are going to move around those areas pretty well. I'm definitely hopeful. And I'm definitely keen to see people using those metro stations, which a few people are. And a few people are, so, you know, we'll get that metro usage back up over 4,000. It did take a bit of a dip in the last one, which I think is largely down to the fact that I added another blue line to this neighborhood, which I think is still possibly somewhat unnecessary. I do think the blue line is probably unnecessary in that district at least. So which, let's see if we can get rid of that, because I think it is just causing more traffic than it's worth. So that's going to be Metro Line 12, right? 90 passengers. Let's delete Metro Line 12. Because I think that was just causing more train traffic than it was worth. I really, really think that's what was going on there. So we'll hopefully see that number crawl back up over 4,000 once people are like, hey, the trains are moving again. I'm also thinking we're going to go ahead and turn off parking on that road. Because it really doesn't need to be on there. I think I'm going to maybe turn it off on possibly a lot of that road, actually. Just to stop people from, you know, that's a very busy road. I don't think people should be parking on it. Same with the roads around the university. I'm going to stop people from parking on those. Because I want them to park in the buildings and leave the roads clear. That just makes more sense to me. So we'll do it that way so people don't park on those. And I think that's a pretty good expansion, if I'm honest. We're coming up on 56,000 people. I don't know if that's higher or lower than where we started. I don't remember. But I do think this is a pretty good expansion that we've got here. And I am very happy with it. So I think what we'll do is we're going to move towards wrapping things up for today. I did say I wanted to get to this area, but we did get to that one, so I'm not too worried about it. What I will do, though, is I'm going to go ahead, turn on road guidelines real quick, and I'm going to go and turn it off again. We're going to go 10. We're going to go 10. Bulldoze, 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 bulldoze. And we are going to go 10, and we're going to go 10. And we're basically going to do another roundabout. We're going to do a roundabout here. Apparently, I'm going to have to do it with the regular roads. But we're going to do a roundabout here. Because we do need a way to filter traffic a little bit around here. And let's go for tree lined. Let's go for tree line because we're fancy like that. So we do need to filter traffic because what we're going to do is we are going to need a main road coming into this district. So that's what that's going to be. And I think we'll go tree lined like the whole way down there. Hopefully this doesn't mess too much with the terrain. Doesn't look like it is. So there we go. That's all going to be tree lined. That's going to be a way into that area. I know that it's a roundabout on a slope, which is kind of nasty, but there's not a lot I can do about that. But that's going to be our way into whatever this district is. And it's going to be a pretty sizable district at that. So it's potentially going to be a little tricky, but it is going to get a lot of use out of this junction and also this road, because that's going to be the only two ways to really get to this district, unless I build a bridge over the highway, which I don't really think I want to do. Maybe pedestrian bridges, but I think pedestrian bridges combined with a metro line coming down into this way, that's probably going to be the best way to do it. That's what I'm thinking anyway. But with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go ahead and leave it there for today. I'm very happy with the changes that we've made. You know, I just mentioned a roundabout in a hill. I didn't realize this one was looking like that. Great. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you, kind of, for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.